Good afternoon, dear students. Today is 20th November 2020, and as per timetable for the MA semester 3rd students for the paper of Population Studies, I am dealing with the second paper, and within that second paper, earlier I dealt with the second units of this paper about the migration. So students, today I will deal with determinants and consequences of migration. So this is a important topic, especially when we experience the experiences of COVID-19 during last 8 months. Because during the COVID-19 era, lots of talking were there regarding reverse migration. So dear students, let's talk about what are the determinants and consequences of migration. Okay, so let's start with by explaining the migration factors. Later on I will talk about the theories regarding these all factors, but today I am dealing with the determinants and factors. Let's take about the explanation of the migration. That first, migration is affected by the push and pull theory. I will tell this theory later on. But what are the major push and pull factors behind migration is the real concern for us. And second is economic approaches. How can migration be explained from an economic perspective? This we have to check. And third is also very important, behavioral expression to the migration. How can migration be explained from a human behavioral perspective? So this is three factors before I deal with the determinants. So let us start with that there are a myriad of economic and non-economic forces behind the decision to migrate. We all know this. And migrants can be pushed out of their home countries due to deteriorating economic condition or political unrest. And this is also true for the internal migrants within the country. This is also true. And conversely, migrants are often pulled into destinations that offer high wages, good health care, and strong educational system. And this is true for international migrants as well as internal migrants. And then in making their decision, individuals compare the net benefits of the migration to the costs. Before leaving their destination, before leaving their origin place, and before going toward their next destination, every individual evaluate their benefits and cost of the migration purpose. Okay, so by better understanding what forces affect specific migrants flows, example demographic characteristics, migrant network and economic conditions, policy makers can set policy to target certain types of migrants. So this is how determinants begin. And then let's talk about the factors of push and pull. So you can see in push factors, this finger is saying that leave from this place. Why leave from this place? Because there are poverty, fear, disasters and unemployment. And this all concerned with the environment, social and economic, political. So these are the push factor by which individual forced to move from their own place. And what are the pull factor? Welcoming factor is they find safety, opportunity, and stability and freedom in the destination place. So before moving to determinants, this is the major factors of the migration. And again you see this flow diagram, that push factor, whole family is moving from this place to this place. This is a rural background, this is an urban background. And in push factors there are few services, lack of job opportunities, unhappy life, poor transport links, natural disasters, wars and shortage of food. And why they are moving from this to this place? Because there are access to services, better job opportunities, more entertainment facilities, better transport links, improved living condition, and hope for better way of life. And of course, from there easily they could link with their families. So this is how you can explain the push and pull factors, and later on I will explain these two factors as a theory, and this is also explained by this which I am leaving for you. And then their students, talking of the push and pull factors, you can see in push factors there are economic and non-economic factors. In economic factors, poverty, low wage, high taxes, high employment, and overpopulation is economic factors of push factors. And non-economic factors, you can see discrimination, poor health care, war, corruption, crime, compulsory military services in many countries, and natural disaster and famine. These are the non-economic factors by which individuals forced move to the another place. And simultaneously, what is the pull factors? Again, there is economic and non-economic factors. In economic factors, demand for labor, high wages, generous welfare benefits, good healthcare and education systems, strong economic growth, technology, and low cost of living. These all are the economic factors behind the pull factors. And again, non-economic pull factors are family and friends networks, rights and freedoms, property rights, law and order, and amenities. So these all are the push and pull factors behind the determinants of the migrants. And thirdly was economic approach. I already told you, due to labor mobility, labor shortage, that means high wages, and surplus labor means low wages. This will translate into a theory of migration, which I will tell you later on. And behavioral explanation means you have a life cycle factors. Up to 25 years, many used to stay with their parents for their education, for their other purposes. But after that age of 25, they move to colleges or job or marriage or promotion. So 35 to 30 year is a most migrated period, most mobile period. So this is a life cycle factors. And up to 50, that is a stability in the life. And then children leave their home. And after 75 or 65, after 65, retirement age, there is a loss of mobility. So this is life cycles which affects the mobility, dear students. So now take the final call for the determination of migration. So very carefully you have to remember, and you have to write in your examination, that basic determinants migration is the first is education, because migration is more likely as education levels rises. The market for more highly educated workers is regional, national rather than local, and the gain from migration may be greater due to greater variability in workers and positions, and college educated workers are more likely to be transferred and have lower psychic cost of moving. So the major determinants is education, and you all see that amongst you all, many have come in Banaras for the education purpose, from Bihar, from Orissa, from Bhopal, from many parts of the country, from Jharkhand. You all moved here. Your parents moved here for the purpose of better education. And then the second is a distance. This is also very important determinants. Distance means the probability of moving falls with the distance the person must move. And transportation cost will be higher if there will be no transportation system, or there will be more distance, and psychic cost will be higher. So distance is also affected, and with this distance you will learn later on the theory of distance decay, that people used to move first in a short distance and later on to the longer distance. So distance also is a major determinant of the migration. And then unemployment rates, this is also a major determinant. That means families headed by the unemployment persons are more likely to move. So this is a very important determinant. And then the unemployment rates at the origin location positively affect the probability of the out migration. So dear students, beyond the education, distance and unemployment rates also affect the migration. That means this is a major determinant of the migration. And that come age. Older individuals are less likely to migrate, and older migrants have fewer years to recoup investment cost, and older people have greater firm specific human capital, and older people have greater monetary and psychic cost of moving, and younger people are more likely to have just completed a human capital investment and to job shops. So age also is a major determinant of the population. And then in the last, I will deal with other factors that lower migrants and that high the migrants. That is home ownership, lower the migration. Occupational licensing, lower the migration. High personal taxes at destination location, this also lower the migration. Immigrational quotas, this also lower the migration. Union membership, this also lower the migration. And foreign language at destination location, these all are the other factors, other determinants of migration which actually lower the migration. So students, the selective migration could be taught in the context of age, sex and level of education. And again, lastly, by closing this slide, I may say that this is how migration works. This is age, sex, hierarchy factors, and peripheries by individual lifestyle, social and community influences, living and working condition, and general socio-economic, cultural environment and condition. These all are the determinants and factors by which these family or these individuals migrates from A place to B place. And this is a migration cuts across the social determinants of health. Okay, so this you can easily understand when I will send this slide in your mail addresses. Okay, and again, as per our topic, we have to also read about the consequences of migration. So students, basic consequences are economic consequences, and you can see in economic consequences there are positive as well as negative also, but major are positive. You can very carefully listen that the remittance or payments sent by migrants to their homes help in growth of economy of the region, and this is very important. That's why I earlier linked migration with the development issue. Students, this money is mainly used by the family for repayment of debt, medical treatment, marriages, children's education, purchasing agricultural inputs and construction of houses, etc. So the positive consequences of migration is very much important, and these all are the issues to be researched in your later part of life. And the second is similarly remittance from the international Indians, migrants, are one of the major source of foreign exchange in India. So you can see many countries survive with the foreign exchange because major members of the family leave their countries for the sake of employment or opportunity in the other countries, and they send remittance to their home, and from which the home growth is also prosper, and also country's growth is also prosper. So this is a positive consequence. And then you can see that states such as Punjab, Kerala, Tamil Nadu receives very large amount of money from the international migrants. We all know this, and that's why these three states are very developed states. So this is a positive links of the migrations. And migration people from Uttar Pradesh, Bihar to the rural areas of Punjab, Haryana has actually resulted in the success of the Green Revolution. So this is also very much important that Bihar, Uttar Pradesh was a major source of the Green Revolution in the era of 70s, by which government of India is dealing with the food security bill. And that's why we can also, in this COVID era, we can also subsidize and we can deliver free food to the 80 crore of our poor Indians during this COVID era. So due to this migration, agriculture process increases in the 70s. So this is also a positive link. And lastly, negative consequences is unregulated migration to the metropolitan cities of India has caused overcrowding. We all know this, students. And development of slums in industrially developed states such as Maharashtra, Gujarat and Delhi is the result of unregulated migration. And last, the underdevelopment gets even worse due to out migrations of skilled people. So this is the positive and negative consequences of the migrations. So students, today I am stopping this online class by saying that I have dealt the two issues of migration. First, concept and types of migration, you prepare as one question. And second, what are the determinants and consequences of migrations, you prepare as a second question. Thank you.